So some people have been saying that Allen Heath are a little bit late to the game with their SQ Rack. I don't think that's necessarily the case, so let's have a look at that. So as you can see, the SQ Rack is a really powerful mixer choice. It's got 48 channels in and 36 with the just using the Allen Heath expansion. So I'm talking about using the external stage boxes here with the S-Link technology. So you've got 48 in and 36 out, which is really great as is. The mixer itself comes with slightly less inputs than the Behringer Wing, with 16 inputs, but it has 10 outputs, so 10 auxes plus your left and right, which kind of stomps on the Behringer Wing. And there's another 2 stereo inputs plus a mini jack input as well. So it's really, really flexible in terms of what you get kind of in the package by itself. Maybe a little lacking in channels. You'll probably have to get a stage box for this if you want more. And I think the Behringer Wing's got sort of 24 XLR inputs, so another 8, which is quite sizable. So I can see why you go with that. And talking about the Behringer Wing, I think we can see a lot of similarities between this Allen Heath product and that Behringer. Everyone was raving about the wing when it came out. I was a little bit unsure because of a few things, but I can see it looks like a really powerful, is it 2-rack or 3-rack module? Really powerful. For most people, it will do just about everything, and the price is just pretty unbelievable, actually. This is very similar. You're talking about £1,000 less than an SQ5, which is great. It's a really good saving. I'm actually looking at making the next video about a slightly higher budget PA build, because you like my £1,000 PA build so much. So we're going to make that a bit bigger, see what the next step up was. And I was looking at putting an SQ5 in there, but they are expensive. They're about £3,000, and that pushes that budget quite far. These are £2,000. Much more acceptable. The wing is almost half. I think it's just over £1,000. So it's a lot more money for Allen Heath, but you're getting tied into a very expandable unit, just as the wing is really, I guess. The thing that might make me lean towards Allen Heath more is the front panel. Looks like it would be very, very easy to negotiate and work your way through if you're playing. And that is a real big thing for me as a playing sound tech. I need to be able to find the pages and work really quickly. This has got a nice big screen. It's got 4 interchangeable encoders, so those encoders can do whatever you like. Plus you've got your kind of effects, faders, processing all the way at the bottom of the screen. I feel like I'll be able to navigate this quite quickly. The thing it really is missing is the Behringer Wing comes with that adjustable front screen, which I think was such an amazing idea. So great for if it's in a rack, you can make it that little bit more visible and it's still safe. This does come with a kind of leg standing mechanism, so you could have it in like a stood up box, I guess. But that's a little bit more exposed then, and yeah, I'm just not 100% sure of it, but I wish it had that adjustable front. If it had that adjustable front, this would kind of beat the Behringer hands down for me. But it's still quite tantalizing. There's still a lot that I'd like to see on this. I had previously a Allen Heath SQ pack. One of my old bands used to use one of those all the time. And I actually kind of loved that mixer. It had like a slightly tilted screen, which was really useful. A little bit tricky for finding the right box for it, but it was so useful that I wouldn't care about that. So it's a bit of a shame that they've gone away from that here. But I kind of get that this is going to be in big racks, server type racks, where it would be maybe at head height anyway. But yeah, I love the QU rack, and I've got friends who use the QU SB, and it has been a while since Allen Heath have released a rack like this. I know the CQ20T does have a kind of rack, but there's no touchscreen. It's much closer to the SB than it was the old Q pack. And this has got all the functionality of the SQ range. So you're talking about really, really high quality effects. They've got some of the best modeled effects, in my opinion, available. It's got a lovely app. People underplay the app quite a bit, but for me, the app is really important. And I like stuff to look nice as well. That's always kind of appealing. But the app is just really easy to navigate. And so is the front screen on this, by the looks of it. Very similar to what I would expect from the QU pack. One thing that I thought was a great addition to this was the expansion. So we can put 64x64 SQ Dante. You've got 32 SQ Dante, SQ Wave inputs if you're in the Wave kind of world. You can get another S-Link. So if you have one of those older QU systems, you should be able to S-Link it and use that as an expansion, possibly. I don't think you can do that with the CQ range. I did get told that that might not be possible, but it's already got S-Link built in anyway, so you probably wouldn't need the second module in that case, as we can see there. It's also on the front panel got let's see if we can find it. It's also got multi-track recording straight to disc, which the SQ obviously used to do, the QU obviously used to do. So we've got all that kind of built in. 96 kilohertz, so really high quality recording as well. And you can run your playback off of there as well. So virtual sound checks, just running your DJ in the background, multi-track recording, really easy. Just stick a thumb drive in, or like they've got here, stick a SSD onto the front and you're kind of sorted. Here's that arrangement where it's kind of up on feet. I guess you could tie that into the bottom of a lift-off box, a bit like a guitar head case, I guess. I think that's a really good idea. I think it's cool that it does it with the rack ears as well, so it's not like another component you need to find. It's already there. But I just don't know if I would use it like that. It just doesn't seem safe to me. It of course connects to the ME personal monitoring system as well, which, you know, if you're already in that world, makes this an obvious kind of buy. Overall, I think they've done a great job here. A little bit late to the game, some might say, but for £2,000, I think that's probably an absolutely solid choice. If you're looking at something that you can expand in the future, if you're looking for something that you could run over a multitude of different events, I think this would do really well. I do think this is probably more focused towards the musician. I think if I was mixing front of house, I would like faders. The screen is probably great, but I would prefer faders if I was running front of house. So I'd like an SQ5 at least. So yeah, overall, I don't think they've done a bad job. I think they've done a great job for the format. I think it's very competitive against the Behringer Wing. Would I pay double the price for it over the Wing? That's a really hard question. If the SQ5 were a similar price, I would buy the SQ5 every time. It is £1,000 more though, and the Wing is £1,000 less. I don't think this is worth the extra £1,000. I think if you were going to spend that money anyway, and this was the right format for you, then I think this will be an outstanding mixer, really great. But I couldn't spend £1,000 more than the Wing, when I think it probably does a similar job to that console. And I'm not a massive Behringer fan. I bought a -MR18, and that's about all I've bought from Behringer really. But I just can't see the value proposition in this being £1,000 more. I think you would just buy the Wing, or you would buy the SQ5. I think the SQ5 is an excellent console. It's got everything this has, plus faders. You would easily run front of house for a lot of gigs on that. I think you would run the SQ5. So it's a bit of a hard market for me. I'm kind of pleased that they've stepped into the game and done this again. I think it's probably missed the mark, and I think Behringer have beat them to the punch a bit in releasing the Behringer Wing Rack. But time will tell. I'm sure we'll see these on some really high-end gigs. These are going to be solid, no doubt more solid than the Behringer Wing, but we'll see. I don't think they've done a bad job. I think they've done quite a good job. I think the price might just be the issue. I'll see you later.